You guys can still dance. It's all good. Just keep
Still dance?
going. All right. We're
going.
We're good. That's it. Well, hey, good morning, everybody. There's a lot of snow outside. This is our 39th jam session. I was next week will be 40. This is kind of crazy. So I'm gonna have everybody do some I'm gonna say some words, and we're gonna start jamming here just so we can get the most out of this, because the market is on fire just despite it being mid-February. So with Chicago Real Producers, our primary mission statement is to, says on our masthead, I always do that side. There we go. That side right there, that side. Connect, elevate, and inspire realtors in the city of Chicago, and not just help everybody maintain their business, but really to thrive. What I know about realtors and just businesses who support realtors is that everybody has an abundance mindset. There's not one or two realtors who can do all the volume in the city. So it's kind of like, we need each other, especially during these times, to scratch each other's backs, pick each other's brains, get insights for each other. I say this on almost every Facebook live feed that we do, but I mean, these whole things started right in May, early June of last year, when we found out our spring event was going to be postponed. And it's like, hey, we still got to connect, and we still got to dig in and collaborate with one another. So, and then I had a realtor approach me in the fall and said, hey, Andy, you should do these Facebook Live. It's kind of like Real Producers TV. And then I had somebody, I think it was 2-3 weeks ago, somebody told me, they're like, yeah, when you guys do the live feed, it's kind of like a live podcast. It's really cool. I'll just put it on my car if I'm driving to an appointment. Which hopefully nobody's driving to an appointment today. So we're gonna kick it off. I'm gonna have the realtors introduce themselves, and then I'll have the partners introduce themselves. We got a good lineup, and we apologize too. If you saw the flyer, Mr. Mark Zale, let's a quick prayer for his little kiddos. They were running fevers, so he could not make it. We'll get him on. I know everybody's gonna tune out of this because Mr. Mark Zale is not on this. So yeah, what are you gonna do? But no, we'll get him on one in April. So Jill, Scott, there's two Jills on here in case you haven't noticed. Why don't you kick us off? Go first.
Sure, absolutely. Hi everyone, I'm Jill Scott. Andy, thanks for hosting us. This is going to be a fun little chat. I am a realtor with my husband. We have the Scott Group, and we're at Compass in Lincoln Park.
You're not going to introduce how we met, Jill?
And here's Jill, who I got into the industry. And now she's kicking ass.
Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Andy and producers. I got into this business because of Jill Scott. We actually worked at the radio station together, selling radio advertising. And she was in the business and encouraged me to take it on, and I felt like I had found my soulmate. So Jill, thank you for pushing me this direction. Yeah, my name's Jill Silverstein. We got a team, Jill Silverstein Group, 6 people, and it's been a wild ride and a ton of fun, and we're excited to be here.
So Robert next or me?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. This is live. This is the beauty.
All right, sweet.
This is the beauty of it.
Go ahead, Robert. Okay, sounds good. My name's Chuck Gullett. I'm the managing broker over at Best Chicago Properties in the West Loop. We've got 11 agents over there, so small boutique brokerage, and we've been in business since 2007. Robert.
Robert Yoshimura at Properties. Been in the business now for this is going on 5 years.
Oh man. Well, no, that's the realtors. So
it's just me. I don't.
Yeah. And you're looking good. You have the sharp attire.
I woke up really early this morning, Andy. Just for. So.
You did your hair too, just like I did. You just can't tell. You just have to trust me. You have to have faith that I did my hair. We'll give you the Laracy Award. You look the sharpest.
I'll borrow you some.
Right now, right on. Well, hey, as the realtors like what we do, obviously we cannot do what we do without our partners. And most of you who've gotten to know me over the years know I keep it light. I'm pretty sarcastic, but this is the 1% of my week, I guess, where I try to be. I mean, I'm a serious father. Let me frame that. I do put my dad voice on sometimes, but this is the 1% of my week where I have to do, I mean, what I literally cannot do what I do without our partners. We're a pure non-pay to play platform for realtors. All the features are completely free. The events are free for realtors. You know, it's all done on merit and nominations and close production. You know, realtors aren't funneling us funding to put them on the cover or to feature them, and we're very proud of that. So with that being said, I can't do what I do without support. And so the business is on here. These guys are in it for the long haul, which we appreciate. And so I'm gonna allow the partners a minute or two to introduce themselves, and then we'll start jamming. So Dan, I think you were on the Zoom first, so go ahead, my friend.
I can go. My name's Dan Krucek. I've been in the mortgage business over 20 years, currently with CrossCountry Mortgage. I was with Draper and Kramer for about 8 years, and changed over to CrossCountry right when the pandemic hit. So it's great timing. But was a busy year, but happy to be back on another one of these and getting to know more people. Thank you.
Hey everybody, my name is Seth Williams. I'm the owner of Interior Drama Home Staging. We do home staging as well as interior decorating, and we're located in the Bucktown neighborhood. We've been in business since about 2002, and we've got an 8,000 square foot warehouse of furniture with the capability to stage about 75 homes.
Hi everyone, I'm Jim Hechtman, partner at the Hechtman Group. We're a 2-partner, 20-person firm with a focus on real estate, specializing in a lot of real estate agents.
Yeah, Jim is actually our longest tenured partner. Jim signed on with us. It was like, we didn't even have a magazine yet. So I don't know if you saw something in me, which I appreciate. Maybe I was.
You showed me some other city, and I like the other city, so I was like, all right, I'm sold.
Done. No, but hey, Jim has been with us since issue 1, which is great. Like, we would not have got off to the start that we did. So that's it, guys. This is the part where I literally shut up and get out of the way. Obviously, if there's a 12-second awkward pause, which I don't think has ever happened on these. I got some conversation starters that I'll sprinkle in on the side, but I mean, let's start jamming. So Chuck, you had a good point when we were kind of pre-gaming. So why don't you kick us off with that, my friend?
Yeah, well, I was kind of thinking about positive things that happened during COVID with our industry and kind of how we're changing and what we're going to go back to, you know, post-COVID. And one of them that really stuck out in my mind was the closings. Like right when COVID started, the title companies downtown, like Chicago Title and all those, they were closed, and people were doing drive-through closings, like where they had parking lots and people were running paperwork out to the car. They'd sign it, send it back. And I was sitting at home the whole time, and I was available, of course, via text or phone or whatever for what people needed, but they kind of never called. So for us, I don't know, after COVID is over, are you guys going to start going back to closings? Is it part of your value prop to your clients, or do you need them to literally get closure?
I think it's about setting expectations. And now we tell people up front, this is how the closing is going to go. You're going to work with the attorney and they're going to coordinate with the other side. I'm not going to be there because I was the cheerleader anyway. Mm-hmm. You know, that's all our purpose was at the closing table, is to distract everybody and take pictures and bring presents. And so, yeah, I don't really see that. I don't really see that happening. I think it's just about making sure clients are aware of what's going to be going on, and I guess gives you an excuse too because we used to bring we're very, very big on gifts and closing gifts, and trying to fit them with the personality of our clients, and so I think it's kind of cool because now, depending that people are comfortable with COVID and everything, instead of bringing the gifts to closing, it's an excuse to come back a week or two or whatever after they move in, to reconnect and make sure everything went smooth and see the home and, celebrate that way.
I like that. We've kind of changed the corner, obviously not going to closings, but trying to make the final walkthrough even more exciting. And instead of doing that at the closing, we too were kind of their cheerleaders and making it as exciting of a process as we could. So we're trying to do that more so at the final walkthrough than we ever have before, doing our pictures, doing all that, but re-engaging right after is a great idea.
I like that too.
Yeah, I like the idea of doing it after. It's kind of like a new opportunity. And then after all the chaos, you're kind of checking in with them and, you know, dropping off your gifts or having them sent.
Yeah, it's still relevant. You get used to talking to them every single day, and then all of a sudden you don't talk to them anymore as much.
No, it's like a bad breakup. I
know.
I was going to say though, with the closings, not only are we not going, but a lot of our clients are, you know, doing POA, power of attorney, and don't have to be here for their closing. So I think it's been very helpful because, you know, everyone's schedules are different and people are out of town now and doing different things. And it's really alleviated that stress of the timing of it all. So especially if sellers want to close at a, you know, different time, it's easier to kind of make both sides sing together when you don't have to worry about being local. So.
Yeah, Jill, I think you made a really good point about just setting that expectation up front. Because before, when I do my buyer interviews, I'd be like, oh, I'll be with you at closing, you know, talk you through the process while you're there. You don't have anything to worry about. And maybe just set that expectation way up front that they'll be there with the attorney and the closer. So
how are you guys finding, without being in physical contact with people, just maintaining that interaction and trust with your clients? Are you just reaching out more and just kind of checking in?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Like, for example, I've got buyers that are moving here from New York, and, you know, I probably would not have thought to get on a video call. It probably would have all been on the phone, in terms of our initial, you know, interaction. And they're moving here from New York. They don't know me. It was a referral, but I feel like the video, as annoying as it is in a lot of ways for people, because, you know, of course, being face to face is ideal. It gives them an added sense of comfort. So I think that, you know, for our business, we're using video a little bit differently than we probably would have before. But I think that, you know, you do have to go the extra mile now, because before, you know, it would be easy to text a client, hey, I'm in West Town, let's grab a quick drink, or let's grab a coffee, or let me swing by and, you know, say hi to the kids. And people obviously don't want that. So I think you do have to be creative about how you're approaching the whole situation and staying in touch with people.
yeah, I think video has been great, you know, for doing just the video showings, the virtual showings. And then I have clients even record the video when I'm walking through, so then they can kind of replay it and replay all those properties and see them again. So I think it adds a whole other dimension to this industry. I don't know, sometimes it might be easier just running property to property and, you know, dialing your client up on FaceTime, showing it to them, rather than having now 2 cars going out and trying to find parking everywhere. And I mean, that's been tough, especially since the snow started. Right. I don't know if you guys have had clients out, but man, trying to find 2 parking places in Lincoln Park. Oh yeah. It's almost unattainable right now.
Yeah.
The
parking tickets.
Matterport tours help too, just in terms of actually, you know, jumping on a call, going through the Matterport with the client, so that way they understand the layout, they understand the functionality or dysfunctionality of the space, as sort of a precursor to doing, you know, a FaceTime or, you know, a video tour with them. So actually having that interaction adds a lot of value without having to jeopardize safety. So I think that's been a very useful tool as well.
Yeah. Are you doing that on all your listings, Robert?
Yes. So that's one thing I think has definitely changed with COVID. Before, I used to use Matterports for like, you know, duplexes or triplexes or townhouses, things that have probably multiple floors or quirky layouts. So that way people could get an understanding before they're seeing it of what the layout was. Now I think it's an absolute necessity for every listing, mainly, you know, if they're occupied, because you want to reduce the number of in-person showings as much as possible And it's also a way to make sure that the buyer is serious by the time they actually do come in to see the property. So for me, I think it's a necessity now, absolutely.
Yeah.
Have
Are
there
you
been
doing
any
drone
other?
too?
Sorry.
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 I cut you. Are you doing drone and video as well, or just the
I actually just got a drone for Christmas, so the weather has not been conducive to playing with it, but I will be incorporating drone, I think, this coming year for sure, once I get well versed with it.
That's
Yeah.
what I was going to ask. Are there any other new technologies that you guys have put in during the pandemic that's made your role easier or harder, or how has that changed?
We've been doing Matterports for every single property as well. I almost get this sense of the sellers like it just as much. They get excited to see their house. And I just recently had a seller say she loved her dollhouse video and she's going to have it forever. But also, we've been doing marketing videos more than we ever have before. We're almost doing it for every single property. We used to kind of do a limit on pricing and different marketing packages, and now we're kind of doing those across the board too, just to get us out there is more too.
Mm-hmm.
What about you guys? Are you guys doing marketing videos?
Just a couple, not for every property right now, but just a couple, maybe for a building and neighborhood ones, but not for specific properties. Are you hosting yours on YouTube, or where are you hosting stuff?
We send them out in our newsletters monthly, and then we're also using them on Instagram. We can be better. We need to be better on social media as well, but we don't do YouTube right now.
Yeah. How are you, like, timing wise on those? If you're doing them on Instagram, are they just short little snippets, or are you doing long videos?
Both. We actually are just about to do a price drop on one. And so with that, we're going to do a big video to go with it and kind of showcase our favorite parts of the house. And also we do them to like celebrate with our whole team and get our whole team together. We've done them kind of for that aspect too. So I guess it's kind of benefiting the team and our own personal marketing too. We're using it both.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna.
Is that one of the specific channels or the changes in the channels of your marketing campaign is primarily video since the pandemic started, or how has your mix of marketing changed, or how have you adapted?
Yep, definitely. A year ago, I would have said, don't ever put a camera in my face. And now I'm like, all right, what are we going to talk about today?
I think it really pushed people that were on the fence about video or not doing it much to start using it. And it's really helpful. It's just, I was the same way. I didn't really want to be talking on video much prior to this, but it's become pretty normal nowadays.
Yeah, we're not doing any print stuff anymore. So, with the property, we used to hand out like all the flyers and stuff like that, all nicely printed. Most people don't want to even touch them or take them with them. So we're just doing a little placard with the property address and a QR code that takes you out to a website that's got Matterport and floor plans and all that stuff built into the site. So that's been helpful.
I actually kind of like some of the traditional marketing methods. Video for sure is no doubt going to continue to be the way of the world. But I actually have found that the last year, some of our postcards have gotten some calls, and we've gotten business from postcard campaigns. And I don't know if it's a function of just people being home more and there to get their mail, or, going to the mailbox is like the activity of the day, unfortunately. But we've got,
it's a highlight.
I don't know, but some of our postcards have actually done very well. We tried to make them, and this is kudos to our VP of Operations, Stacey Russell, but we tried to make them engaging and, something that people would maybe take a look at. But I think some of the traditional ways of the world are coming back a little bit. And obviously people are, on their phone a gazillion hours a day. So you still have to hit them with the exciting video and all that content. But it's been interesting for sure with the printed stuff.
Question for Seth, home staging stuff. So I did check out your website. You guys, it looks like you do awesome work. There were two things on there. You had furniture rental, which I was kind of curious about. And then how has home staging been during the pandemic? Are you guys seeing a big uptick, or is it about the same as before?
We had a record fall, and then it's tapered off a little bit, but it's what's been introduced, I guess, is more just volatility with the seasonality. So we're tied primarily to number of existing home sales, and so it's definitely increased the volatility of our business. So that's what we're introducing, furniture rental, and also to capture both sides of the transaction, not just the sell side. We do interior decorating as well. So if you have a client that's going to purchase a home, we'll do the furniture procurement, and we have all the infrastructure built out to do that. So it's basically had us pivot to not only just look at the homes for sale, but also when people come in and either rent or if they buy the property to offer some services there as well.
Okay. So
do you see people staging the entire property, or do you see partial staging? Is there particular rooms that are never done, or what do you see mostly?
We've seen a pretty recent shift where we only did just entirely vacant stagings previously. And we're seeing a lot of partial staging now. So sometimes they'll leave a nice sofa or something that can actually go well with our inventory as well. But we recommend, just at the very basics, living, dining, master, and an office. So even if there isn't availability for like a dedicated office space, what we're calling it is a flex area, a flex zone. And it's like a living room with an office there as well. Because if you have a couple and they're both white collar employees working from home, they're both going to be working from home. And one of them is probably going to be working in the living room. I've seen people work in the kitchen. So it's there has to be at least an office there conceptually, so they understand that.
How many desks did you add to your inventory the last year?
Quite a few, a lot. You know what? Look good. Our small dining tables. They look really good as desks. So we've added a lot of those to our inventory.
You need some Peloton bikes for staging.
I've had requests. Yeah. Do you have any treadmills? No, I don't have treadmills.
Oh man. Yeah. Somebody needs to come up with that cardboard Peloton bike they can put in the corner.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, just buy some cheap bikes and then put the Peloton sticker on it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. What about outdoor space stuff like patios and stuff like that? Are you doing more of those, since that's very important right now?
Well, most of our work is primarily in the city. So when we do get those outdoor spaces, it's a balcony, and we just the general trends every year. We have a huge, all of our inventory comes back in regard to patio space, and it's just because of the weather.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, they'll just take a quick look outside and then come back in. So it's tough to, also carrying that metal furniture hurts your fingers. So I don't like to put it on the guys, but not too many patio stagings right now.
Okay.
Yeah, speaking of outdoor space, if I can transition for a second. So I think this is like my PSA to sellers, and we say it every year, but I feel like now it resonates because there's mounds of snow on people's terraces, roof decks, outdoor spaces. You really have to get your exterior photos done June, July, August, September, I would say, and you guys jump in if you disagree, but I feel like you've got a short window to get those photos done, because if you're planning to list during the fall, during the winter, during the spring, you are not going to feel the depth of those spaces until those months when everything is actually completely green and full bloom. So I just think it's something to think about. And it's easy to say it now when, again, there's so much snow. You have to be prepared if you're gonna list, because your photos, I mean, you guys have seen all the pictures that are out there now, and there's nothing that we can do. So we're all doing the best we can, given that we live in Chicago and it's snowing. But if you're thinking about selling in the next year or two, talk to your realtor in advance and work out some sort of agreement that you can get those photos done. We're very open to helping people out, even if they're not sellers today, but just to have them in the back pocket, because it makes a massive difference when, you know, you're talking about one of your biggest assets is, you know, your beautiful roof deck, and just can't feel the magnitude of that space until 4 months of the year. So just a thought.
That's
I'm
a
curious,
really good
the
suggestion.
listing you guys are taking now, are you guys shooting outdoor, or are you just doing interior and then going to do outdoor once, you know, hopefully the weather starts cooperating?
Yeah, I just had a listing like this, and we're trying to showcase 3 outdoor spaces. And I actually hired Box Brownie. I don't know if you guys have worked with them to remove all the snowing from the pictures. I mean, you literally couldn't see the roof decks at all if we didn't do that. So it was a pretty good fix.
Cool. How'd those final photos come out?
The photos almost look too good. You know, the decking has a few like marks on it, and now the decking looks absolutely perfect. So, you know, you're always going to have to give and take a little bit here, but we're doing the best we can.
Yeah, that's awesome. I hadn't thought about using them for snow removal.
Yeah, they did a good job. Too good.
Genius. I love it.
Yeah, I'm noticing it. I'm noticing in the suburbs, a lot of new listings that are coming on are using photos that they had taken in the summer or spring or fall, because they're definitely not showing all the snow that's in the yards and driveway and stuff.
And that's without question the best perfect scenario, you know, and it's a great touch point for realtors too, to check in. Hey, you know, what are your upcoming goals? What are you trying to do? Oh, you want to eventually sell? Let's pick the nicest.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Take the pictures and have them in the back pocket for when we need them. And then it also keeps them connected with you because you've got the pictures. And
like, come on, talk to me. You're gonna love this roof deck. It's really pretty, I promise.
If you like it with all the snow, you'll love it.
There it is. 10 feet of snow.
Start putting snowmen on the decks.
Yeah.
Do your sellers prepare that far in advance? I mean, you know, how early do they reach out to you guys to get ready?
They must be doing it, because I mean, I'm seeing a lot of it.
Yeah, a lot of them are super prepared. Like they know 6 months or a year in advance that they're going to sell. Those are the ideal sellers because they prep the property really well. You know, they do all the fixes ahead of time and everything's just ready. Those tend to sell quicker, in my opinion, too. And the guy that calls you up, he's like, hey, I need a list in 2 weeks, and it's the middle of winter.
Right. And most of these that I see are professional photos. They're not like the homeowner was taking them, you know, prior a few months ago or whatever.
Or they're stealing the photos from when they bought, you know, from
yeah.
I think
borrowing.
Q4 last year, you know, I think, especially for condo, you know, gave us the opportunity because, you know, I wasn't planning on putting anything on until Q1 this year in anticipation of the market turning around. So it was easier to get those exterior shots late last year because we knew we weren't going to be putting it on until January, February this year. But now it's like, well, maybe we hold off for March because I'm looking at 3.5 feet of snow in front of you right now.
I have an off-topic question. Have you guys seen the mix of your buyers and sellers change dramatically over the pandemic?
I don't know. The ratios are about the same for me for buyers and sellers, but I guess where they're looking is different. And Jill kind of brought this up in our pregame, Jill Scott did, about suburbs and stuff and whether or not we're working the suburbs. So I'm seeing a lot more of my people heading that way, but yeah, it's changed. It's for sure it's changed, but the ratio stayed about the same for buyers and sellers. It's about a 60-40 split for me.
Yeah. To that point too, you know, we're all experiencing sellers moving out to the suburbs, but at the same token, I'm having, you know, renters that never even thought about buying now wanting to buy because interest rates are so low. So it's kind of evening itself out a little bit. But I am curious to know if you guys are helping your clients move to the suburbs too, or handing that off, because we've kind of done both and we're still trying to figure out what the best scenario is for us.
Yeah, I don't really pretend to be an expert in the areas that, you know, I'm not familiar with. There's some clients that, as I had said earlier, that are laser focused on a particular area, whether it's because there's family nearby or a school system or friends or whatever. And I'm happy to help facilitate that type of transaction. But you know, I love the city. I love being downtown. I love the energy here. I love the way that we all work together in terms of our speed and our pace with the realtor community. And it's obviously very different in the suburbs. And so, you know, we're happy to pass, you know, and I know it sounds cliche, but we want our clients to be comfortable, happy, and taken care of the right way. And if we're not the right fit to be able to do that, whether it's downtown or the suburbs, we are very quick to pass that along. And we've got a lot of really great partners in those areas that, you know, we feel confident with. And so I think that's important to identify what your client needs and make sure that they're matched up with the right representation.
In terms of, I know that there's an oversupply of homes near the Loop and people are moving to the suburbs, but for those of you that work in the central markets, and you know, particularly you, Robert, because I'm a fellow South Loop guy as well, what age groups are buying the properties near the Loop, or what demographics are you seeing for those that are selling?
Yeah, kind of to echo what was being said before about, you know, first-time home buyers coming into the market right now. I think there's a lot going on. You know, we're almost at the 1 year mark for where the pandemic formally started and the shelter in place happened. And what I noticed last year was that the rental buildings in the area really started doing these aggressive deals to keep the, you know, what would be first-time home buyers in, you know, in their leases, you know, doing better, giving them better views, better floor height, discounts on rent, deals, you know, they lost all their amenities, so they had to justify sort of the premium that a lot of these buildings were charging. What I'm seeing now is with interest rates where they are and, you know, the vaccine and sort of a light at the end of the tunnel, I think we're going to get flooded with these renters that stayed an extra year in the rental buildings and are going to emerge into the market because they have that down payment now. Some of them went back home to live with mom and dad. They didn't want to pay the rent. So they've been stockpiling money up. And I think that they're in the next couple months, we're going to see a big push on first-time home buyers. As far as the buyers I have right now that are moving, a lot of them are about to start a family. You know, a lot of them are in 1 bedrooms or smaller 2 bedrooms, and they're just looking for more space to accommodate a child. So that's primarily what I'm seeing in the South Loop and in sort of the denser market right now. How about you guys?
I'm right in the Loop, and I live in the Loop and I've got listings in the Loop. It's been pretty quiet, but the people that seem to be coming in and looking are actually people from the suburbs, kind of thinking ahead, knowing, you know, downtown's great and it's amazing when everything's running and there's people here. And I think they see that and they see that future for Chicago. So it's kind of suburb empty nesters that are back downtown looking again. And that's super encouraging. I love seeing that. So it's gotten pretty busy with showings right in the Loop lately. It's nice. Somebody mentioned mortgages. I think you did, Robert, with the low rates and renters and stuff. Dan, I guess this question's for you. What are you seeing? Like, who's applying for loans right now? Are you doing more refis?
I've always been more of a purchase guy. So of course we're doing a ton of refis with rates so low, but my main focus is the purchase business. And the nice thing is I do business all over the country, so I can kind of see what's happening everywhere. But yeah, there's a lot of people from the city that are younger, but then like you said as well, I'm getting some, you know, older empty nesters that are, you know, they're either looking downtown or they're looking in another state, somewhere warmer, you know, to get out, especially now with this going on. But yeah, it's all over the board. The only difference is that my business was typically mostly in the city, and, you know, hard to do condos, stuff like that. That's how I got started a long time ago. But over the last year or so, the suburbs has picked up. The suburbs have been pretty slow for several years compared to the city. So it was bound to happen, but I'm still busy all over the place. And it's nice to start the year. We started January just completely slammed. So it's nice starting the year with a lot of momentum already. Appraisals are taking a little longer these days. It seems like every appraiser I talk to is just buried. And on the refis, it doesn't really bother us much because most of our clients don't even need an appraisal, but it's the purchases that, you know, we're trying to stress to people, like, let's just get them ordered even ahead of inspection. If I got to cancel it, we cancel it, but we got to get those orders in right away so that they can start making the appointments.
Hey, Dan, sorry if you already said this. What are you seeing in terms of closing timeframes? Because I know that last year it was everything was being pushed out. What are you seeing today?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I tell people all the time, you know, a lot of, you know, people know me for getting things done fast. So sometimes they try to take advantage of that a little, like, hey, I need to close in 2 weeks. But, you know, most of the purchase contracts coming over are 30 to 45 day close, and those are no problem at all. The only issues we run into is if they put the contingency date like 30 days before the closing, we might need an extension on that for a week because of maybe an appraisal delay or something. But things are still moving along really fast. As long as, you know, the clients are getting us stuff. One thing I've been seeing lately is, you know, people have to close in 30 days, but they're going on vacation, or, oh, I'll get you those next week. And it's like, well, no, we got to get them now. So we try to do it as, you know, make it as easy as we can for people to upload things and stuff. But yeah, the process, I'd say, is moving along great these days. It's just the appraisals. Typical turn times is probably a couple weeks right now.
Have the requirements, I know because of COVID, you know, the lenders kind of tightened in on some of the financial requirements. Are you seeing those starting to loosen up now? Are they back to where they were pre-COVID? Or
in the last week or two, there has definitely been some loosening on some of the restrictions that they put in because of COVID. A lot of lenders kind of suspended programs when COVID first started, as far as outside the box programs. Those are starting to come back. You know, most of my clients are decent down payments, great credit, stuff like that. So none of that has really changed. If anything, it's maybe some of the appraisal requirements we might need to update. You know, when a bank statement lasted for 2 months before, now it has to be updated after a month because of COVID. But definitely it's starting to loosen up a little bit lately.
You know, one thing that I've appreciated as well with COVID, in terms of pre-approvals, I'm not, like, because of safety concerns, unless people have, and of course, as realtors, we want people to have pre-approval or proof of funds before doing any types of showings or anything. But now it's just justified, and people don't question it. And, you know, we're not taking people out. Oh my goodness. Not taking people out until we have that in hand. So I think it's validated that process even more in terms of making sure that buyers are prepared and qualified before engaging, so that we're not wasting time and we're not uprooting people out of their homes for showings unnecessarily.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing, and this has been for a long time, that I see is a lot of my business is kind of rescue deals, or somebody that was told one thing and couldn't get it done, so then they're referred to me. But it's still just amazing the amount of people that get pre-approvals and nobody's verified anything. You know, if you tell a system, hey, I make this much money and this and that, and it spits out a pre-approval, well, it doesn't mean anything if once it gets to underwriting. And so, you know, all our pre-approvals we're requiring, you know, if they're self-employed, we want to see tax returns. If they started a new job, we want to see the documents that the underwriters are going to ask for. So it's still just you know, it's amazing. You know, I'd probably say, you know, half of the people that apply, what they tell you their income is not really their income the way an underwriter would look at it. So it's just important that people deal with like an actual person and not an automated pre-approval system.
We've seen a lot more banks reaching out to us directly to explain clients' tax terms, or if they're self-employed or a small business, to try and make some prediction on the future. You can't predict what's going to happen in the future. So we've seen that be a little challenging for some of our buyers, and just trying to help them the best we can without saying, hey, we can't say what the future is going to bring. Who would have predicted the pandemic and the changes that we've gone through in the last year? So, you know, but you can focus on, you know, 3, 4, 5 years of history of somebody who's been successful. You know, that's been the hardest thing for us in trying to help some of our buyers and refi people.
Yeah. Hey, Jim, are there any tax opportunities we should be looking at? You know, we're all starting to file our 2020 returns and doing that paperwork. Anything we should be looking out for that's changed?
Yeah, I would say, you know, not necessarily related to real estate, but there's a couple things out there that haven't gotten a lot of press. And one of the biggest is the employee retention tax credit, which is something that for you guys that have employees on your team or have employees in your company, the tax law change that went in the end of December, you can both utilize that for PPP loans or PPP forgiveness, depending on your situation. And you can also use this, take advantage of the employee retention tax credit. It can be up to $19,000 of a credit per employee. And there is a bit of gamesmanship that can be played for those of you that have corporations where you are the employee of your corporation. So,
I have a question for Jill Scott over there. Jill increased her business by 250%.
Whoa.
Can you please tell us what you did that was different to accomplish such a crazy thing?
Sure.
And
Thanks for the
before you
shot.
answer that, before you answer, Jill Scott, sorry, I usually don't interrupt. I just want to let everybody know this jam session is kid friendly. Okay. I just want, for those of you got some negative comments in the chat there, I'm just kidding. But continue. It is kid friendly. Just want to make that clear. Go ahead. Increasing your business. I digress. Continue.
My kids did not help me increase my business, but actually maybe they helped me work smarter. I'll give them that.
It's true.
But I think what helped me
have 2 children, Jill, in like a year and a half's time to increase my business by 252%. Because I'll do it if that's what it takes.
Please do it. We need some baby Silversteins out here. No, I think the number one thing was I had zero social life in 2020. I didn't do anything. I didn't travel. I didn't have a social life. I worked. And I don't know, people have never thought more about moving than they did in 2020. And I used it to the best of my ability. And hopefully 2021 will be jamming along too.
Proud of you, sister.
Thanks.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what are you going to do when COVID's over? What's the big travel plan?
You know what? We did just go to Florida. We were supposed to be there for a week. We stayed for 3 weeks. Our flight got canceled coming home. But no big travel plans that I know of right now. One day. Have you guys been leaving Chicago at all?
That was my plan for 2020, was to travel a lot, and then all this happened. So I didn't really go anywhere. Just worked.
Yeah. Anything you're thinking about doing coming up?
I definitely, with all this snow, I got to get out of here. I have 2 little girls, 8 and 6. So we've been, I think we're going to plan like renting a house in Florida in April. I've been wanting to go obviously now, but I really would like the temps to get up a little higher if I'm going to do all that work to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So that we're in the pool and at the ocean and stuff. It's at least in the 80s, but yeah, it'd be nice to get out of here, go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
How about you guys? Anybody travel anywhere warm recently? I mean, it's negative temperatures in Texas, so it's not really warm anywhere right now.
We've just been doing weekend trips in the Midwest. So it sounds boring, but there's some cool towns going to Milwaukee, Indianapolis, Cincinnati. But no, not getting out of the cold weather. It's cold in Milwaukee as well.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I discovered the Indiana Dunes this year. I had no idea about that, but it's incredible.
Beautiful.
We were going hiking there on the weekends and stuff. Yeah, shout out to the dunes. I'm a fan.
Yeah, definitely 2020 made us get out and find some new things to do, especially over the summer, you know, just doing more fishing and outdoor activities that didn't typically do because there was nothing else to do.
Yeah, drinking in Grant Park, that was pretty fun. Usually you get busted for that, but this year they kind of look the other way.
Yeah. As long as you're social distancing, you can do it.
Just big picnic blanket, couple bottles of wine. It's a nice Saturday. Yeah, COVID's not all bad. Learn some new stuff.
Well, we can work, you know, where we want to work to an extent. I feel like, you know, I keep wanting to take off the entire month of February, and my boyfriend and I are like, we're not going to ever be in Chicago again during the month of February, but you know, you kind of have to be here. We're getting a very special FaceTime video from Chicago Association Realtor President Tommy Choi.
Hey, Tommy. How's it going, man?
Like ribs looking to Jill Silverstein's new club.
Hey, ask Tommy. Tommy, do you have a question for the jam sessionees? Oh, he bail. We should stage that, like everyone he FaceTimes in and throws a curveball question to everybody. I think that would be funny. That's just me though. Let me ask this. What are action steps that everybody's, I mean, it's like traditionally spring market is what hits, you know, March-ish, middle of March-ish to, you know, goes pretty bonkers till May until kids get out of school, then kind of dips and lulls. But I mean, what are people doing now, I guess, between now and April? So like the next 6 weeks or so, like what are some action steps people are going to be taking, or that's maybe not necessarily in your business plan, but as the activity has picked up? And we can go around the horn. That's fine. We don't necessarily have to, but what are action steps that people plan on doing over the next 6 weeks just to maximize the February and the March that we're going to be in?
Yeah, I'll go first real quick. Honestly, what we've seen pick up a ton is clients going to open houses. It's kind of surprised me, but I've had more clients going to open houses recently than ever before in the last year and a half. So we're going to keep doing more of those. And that's what I've got.
Yeah, I'm on board with the open houses. I've been sending clients to them and I've been holding them. Like 2 or 3 weeks ago, my open houses were dead. Last weekend, packed. So I think the spring market's here already. So really solid. So just kind of gearing up for that stuff. And I've got CE. Mine's due this year, so I got to get that out of the way really quick before it gets too busy.
On the open houses, is that just because people want to get out? Or is that, I wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah, I think so. People want to get out. They're ready now. You know, the rumor is always right after Super Bowl weekend. I think it started earlier for sure this year. And I mean, there was a ton of snow last weekend and we had 14 couples come through. We were expecting it to be dead, like maybe 4 people. We had 14 couples come through. It was
That's nice.
Crazy. Yeah. So we're going to have more of those. And, you know, it helps realtors too. Instead of trying to squeeze in 6 buyers on your Saturday, you can kind of send them to some open houses and get feedback and follow up and go back with them if you need to. But it's a great way to get, you know, the new buyers out there too. And I've been encouraging it.
Yeah. If they're out in this weather, they're serious. Otherwise, they're just sitting at home.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are just tired of, you know, probably looking at places online and stuff and want to actually see something in person.
Yeah, and our April, May, June sellers are now starting to really get their homes prepared. And I feel like people more than ever are taking our advice and making the process more efficient, because I mean, the goal is always to get on and off market as quickly as you can, right, as a seller. But now they really don't want to sit on and deal with tons of open houses and tons of showings and having to leave because a lot of people are like, we have nowhere to go during the hour that you're in our home. So we'd rather invest some cash up front, get the home as prepared as you possibly can forward. And those are, that's what we're engaging with our sellers right now that are preparing to list, in the deeper spring, summer timeframe.
And when you're, Jill, when you're talking to your sellers about investing in things such as either, painting or renovations or staging even, is it more of like an economic talk, say, like informing them about cost of carrying the mortgage and how that is going to, end up costing, more as opposed to investing in these specific services? Or is it depending on the client, if it's qualitative or quantitative?
Yeah, a lot of our clients are very well aware of their monthly spend and what their carrying costs look like on a property. And so, we position it that there's two different routes. We can go as is, and the market time's going to be approximately X, and you're going to net approximately Y. Or you can do a few of our suggestions, staging, obviously, of course. We never want a property to be vacant. A laundry list of other items depending on the home, and then their chances of selling quicker or cash. Sometimes it's not always about putting in $1 to get $2. Sometimes it's just about the marketability of it, right? And being able to get off the shelf within that first hot 2-week strike zone of being new on market. But I think that's important, and I think people are starting to really listen to the realtor and the suggestions that we have, because we're out with buyers all day long. So we know what the buyer's looking for, and you got to have a little faith and trust that we're not just trying to get you to spend $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, for no reason. It's a team effort, and there's going to be benefits on both sides if you do what we're suggesting now.
Yeah. What kind of lead time do you need to stage a place right now? I know you guys are super slammed.
Right now, anywhere from more like 7 business days. So we can generally fit it in our schedule. We run a lean team, but we're pretty efficient. So if you give us a week heads up, we can definitely make it happen.
Okay, cool. I may have a couple for you.
Awesome.
Got some vacant stuff that definitely needs it. So
yeah, it's tough to, it's tough for your average Joe to just visualize conceptually where they're going to put things.
Yeah, for sure.
And psychologically, especially with respect to the living area and that flex space, like I mentioned, they need to see a home office if they're going to be working from home.
Yeah. Do any of the other realtors on here have listings that maybe sat this winter that still haven't sold? And what are you going to do to remarket?
A couple in the Gold Coast. The Gold Coast definitely got slammed. So we've seen some of the listings that we staged still sitting in that area. Mostly within the central market. So I guess it's correlated with the number of homes for sale down there, and so in the Loop as well as the South Loop.
Yeah. What about you, the realtors? You guys have listings that have been on for a bit, or is everything kind of moving?
No, I think when before I put things on the market, I try to have a good conversation with the seller about what the market times are right now and what to expect. So that way we can sort of strategically look at, the holidays coming up, or, in some cases the weather, to make sure that we're not wasting time on the market. When we come on the market, that we know we're going to have the activity we need. We know we're going to be priced the way we need to be priced to meet or exceed those expectations on market time. So I don't have anything from last year that's still sitting. I only have one active listing. Everything else is under contract right now. So
yeah, the market being so hot too, we're all getting a little spoiled. Something sits for more than 2 weeks and you're like, shoot, what's going on? What are we doing wrong? We missed something,
Yeah, we have some luxury product that has been challenging downtown to move. I think it'll be interesting to see how things shake out.
Yeah. Are you getting showings on those now, Jill? Have you seen any upticks, or has it been about the same?
Yeah, it's been interesting. I think right now it's taking a lot more effort than before. And what I find to be interesting is that we'll have a home that's been on the market for, 30, 60, 90 days, whatever it is. And I'll put it on social media again, or I'll contact certain agents that I know do business in the building or in the neighborhood, or send out mailers, and people are like, oh, where is this? What is that? And I'm like, that's been on the market. But I think people are just all over the place a bit, as we all are. And so it's, getting the inventory in front of agents, in front of buyers, even though it's already been on, just trying to reinvent and, strategize differently, because people are not seeing, sometimes you have to actually put it in someone's face, even though it's on the market. Not every single buyer is tied to Redfin and getting the alerts. Some are, a lot are, but there are people that, you've got to send it to that buyer and say, hey, this has been on the market, but I think it could be something worth looking at. And, that's how you get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. It is interesting when there's something that's been on the market, maybe 60 days, and then you get one buyer in, they write an offer, and then you get a multiple offer on it. And it's like, how did that even happen?
Yeah.
We've been having that multiple times, just last week, twice with 2 buyers. It's like both times we're like, all right, this is going to be great. It's been on the market for 30 days. And then out of nowhere, 3 offers.
Yeah.
Place last year, it was on the market since 2013, on and off.
What?
And we came, and of course, an offer, and there's another buyer, and it was a real buyer. And I'm like,
oh man. You had 7 years to write that offer.
Right.
Oh my God.
I had one that late last year where I had like 3 agents that were kind of hovering around it, waiting for us to do the price drop. And I told all 3 of them, I go, if you're looking for a deal, I wouldn't wait. So as soon as we did the 10K price drop, 3 offers came in, which ended up going back over what we were listed at before the price drop.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's just,
I'm seeing that the multiple offer situation everywhere, not just, in the suburbs or city, not just Illinois. I mean, up in Wisconsin, they're saying they're just slammed with people buying second homes. Appraisers are behind. St. Louis area, Texas, Florida. So it's not just like it's one region that's having this issue. And luckily, no, knock on wood, no appraisal issues yet with the multiple offers or overlisting offers. But I wonder if that's going to be an issue at all in the spring market.
Yeah, maybe.
Hey guys, in the respective time, I'm a very stickler on that, just because, hey, people carve the time out to hang with us for a little bit. These have been fun, so you know the drill. If you are interested in getting on another one of these, I think we're booked out of these until April. We can shuffle the deck, get some different realtors, different partners on, but these are always fun. It's always just good to hang out and talk shop, just especially with the absence of hanging out in person. As much as I love everybody, a screen, I just can't touch and hug people. So thanks for jamming with us today. I'm going to cut the live feed. Hold on. Okay, live feed's over. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Andy.
Thanks,
it was
Andy.
fun.
Thanks, Andy.
Thanks, everyone.
I will send out everybody's info in a blast email in case you want to connect after, and then I'll include the YouTube link and the Facebook Live link. You know how it works when you comment and share, and all the algorithm love that Facebook does. Just gets more eyeballs on it, which is a win for everybody, is how I look at it. So have a productive rest of your day. Stay warm. Don't slip on snow. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.
See everyone.
Good day, everyone.
See everyone.
Bye-bye.